Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of I Was There Last Night because, what? No, I was there last night. See? Last night, on November 22nd, I saw Dark Tranquillity with Swallow the Sun featuring Enforcer and Starkill at the Bluebird Theater right here in the Mile High City. Now, I love this venue because it's so small and intimate, like you can get right up on the stage, but I'm not sure I love a show that starts at 8 p.m. on a Tuesday, so that one had me worried a little bit, and with good reason, as you'll find out. And this is a peculiar lineup since three of the bands could very easily go together, and then there's one that's definitely not like the others. So the first band up was Starkill. They're from Chicago, Illinois, and the best I can describe them is melodic deathcore. I'm sure they have a different designation, but there's a lot of elements of their music that reminded me of bands like Dark Tranquillity, Children of Bodom, as well as Bullet for My Valentine and Trivium. So they definitely had a lot of things going on. You could tell that they definitely wanted that sort of death metal sound, but then have more of a metalcore vocal in between. So it was really a mixed bag, but they sounded really good, considering they were the opening band and didn't have quite the technical setup that, Dark Tranquillity had. Specifically, though, the guitar work of this band is exceptional. The lead singer has this really strong Alexi Laiho vibe, which again reminds me of Children of Bodom. He's even got the Flying V guitar, and he plays just like Alexi, so it really did remind me of Children of Bodom. Some of the songs they played were Burn Your World, that was a great song. Virus of the Mind, I guess, is one of their older tracks. Cloudless, one of their newer ones. And then Erase Me was probably my favorite of the night because it was a little bit softer, but still had that build up and that power. This was definitely a fun band to watch. I certainly enjoyed them as the opening act. Next up was a band called Enforcer from Sweden, and these guys had tons of energy, but these are the ones that were out of place because whereas all the other bands have more of a death metal, doom metal vibe to them, these guys are more like speed glam metal. It was really kind of bizarre to see them in this lineup. Now, I got to give them credit, though, because they did try to build up the crowd and get everybody, roused up and having a good time, and a lot of people were. For the most part, the crowd did respond pretty well to these guys. The lead singer was definitely the one that was sort of leading that charge, doing a lot of the old school 1980s hair metal type of antics, holding the arm up when he screams, and it was almost like a caricature of 80s metal, but I think that's what it's meant to be, so that they could just go out there and have a lot of fun. But for the life of me, I could not stop thinking about how small their calf muscles are in the tight pants they were wearing. It was bothering me the entire show. A couple tracks that they played, I certainly enjoyed. From Beyond, which I guess is taken from their new album. They have a cover of Venom's Count as Bathory that they did that was pretty good. And then they closed on a song called Take Me Out of This Nightmare that was, one of the better songs of the night from them. following the speed glam metal guys comes the doom metal guys. Out of Finland, Swallow the Sun came up next, and these guys sounded fantastic. They are almost the polar opposite of Enforcer in tone, look, and music, but this is also a band that I came to see, so I was really hoping to see them, in sort of their dark glory, and they brought it extremely well. They have a very strong doomy sound, and they played it really well. The sextet did. They pretty much just get, the guitarist, the bass player, and the keyboardist all kind of flanking the lead singer with the drummer in the back, and they just kind of keep that position the entire show. Now, there's certainly nothing wrong with bringing a little dramatic flair, and they totally did, but it certainly accentuated their music, because again, their music is really doomy, it's really dark and morose, but it's so beautiful at times as well. They're also a great band because they showcase every member in his own way. Every member of the band has his part to play in the band. So there's 6 of them, and each one takes part of a song or takes, a certain section and basically takes over that song and really shows off his skills. The set was only 7 songs, but then again, they are also known for longer songs, so it really wasn't all that surprising. A couple of highlights from their set would be Silhouette, New Moon, Descending Winters is what they closed on. That was a great song to close on. But my favorite would probably have to go to Cathedral Walls. That one was just phenomenal. I mean, overall, these guys, doom metal is hard for some people to listen to because it is a little bit slower, a little dirgier than, say, speed metal or death metal. But these guys do it so well that you can't help but be entranced by what you're seeing. Last but not least, the creme de la creme from Sweden, Dark Tranquillity. Now, this was unfortunate because they were plagued by technical issues from the get-go, which actually prompted Mikael to suggest that this might be the worst show they've ever done. But they soldiered through it, listening to random people blurt out from the crowd. Like when you basically start a show and 1 minute into the first song, you have to abruptly stop, there's going to be problems, and they really didn't get things going until about the 4th or 5th song. But once they got going, it sounded pretty good. Not sure they ever really fixed the sound, but for the most part, they did sound really good. They played a lot of newer material, obviously, because their new album just dropped. Their new album, Atoma, which unfortunately I have not bought yet, but from what I've heard from it, it does sound really good, so I definitely will go out and buy it. A lot of the songs that they played came off of their previous album, Construct, as well as Damage Done, which is one of their older albums. I think they had like 4 songs each from those albums. So it's definitely a good mix of new and old. I'm more a fan of the older stuff just because that's what I'm more familiar with. But playing the newer stuff really did fit in. So you did have kind of this, newer, older dynamic that they went throughout the entire show. A few songs that just, really struck me. Final Resistance, that was a great track. Monochromatic Stains, when they played that, everyone definitely got into it. Terminus, Where Death is Most Alive, off of Fiction. That was a fantastic song. And then White Noise, Black Silence, I just love that song. And so when they played that was awesome. Clearly, I really like Damage Done as an album. So them playing a lot of stuff off Damage Done was pretty awesome. They even went all the way back to some of their older material and played Therein off of Projector. That was pretty awesome. But I would say my favorite of the night has to go to The Wonders at Your Feet. There was a handful of songs that I was really hoping they would play, and they only played like 1 or 2 of them. But it was good that they played, one of these off of, specifically off of Haven. Wonders at Your Feet is just a really powerful, fun anthem type song. I definitely hope to see them again, but where they can just play their brand of melodic metal and they're not plagued with the technical issues. Again, they powered through it, but it's one of those things that you really got to feel bad for the band because they want to put on a great show, and unfortunately, things go wrong. Overall, this show was a mixed bag between the bizarre lineup and the technical issues. But the crowd was pretty forgiving. It was a smaller crowd. These bands are not going to draw a huge crowd here in Denver. So it was a smaller crowd, but they were forgiving of like the technical issues. It wasn't a perfect show, but that's also the appeal of live music. If you don't see the flaws, then you know that there's something going on behind the scenes. It's always good to see the flaws because then you know this is why you're watching live music, because those guys are up there, they're putting their hearts into their music and they just want to put on a great show, and sometimes it doesn't always work out that way. But that's why I love live music, is the imperfection. But that isn't to say I love technical issues, because that does also get a little bit frustrating. So hopefully the next time I see Dark Tranquillity, they won't have problems plaguing them. But at least, again, they responded with class and understanding that they just want to please the fans. And I think in the end, they did. If you were there last night, let me know what you thought of the show. Otherwise, enjoy this video. And that does it for this episode of I Was There Last Night, and I'll see you guys very soon. Bye-bye. Hey gang, thanks for watching this video. If you like what you see, you can click to subscribe to check out my other videos right here on YouTube. Or you can click the link to check out my website to find out about all of my other projects, including my podcasts, as well as my books. So what do you say? Click away.